G'day guys, how you going? Welcome back to Ant's Super Cinema build. Hey, listen, I haven't done anything in here for quite a while. It's been about 3 weeks, I think, since I did any work in here. And honestly, I've missed it. It's not to say I haven't been doing anything. I've still been doing cinema-related stuff. But in here, I haven't done anything really. No, not too much. In fact, what I might do is actually give you a bit of a rundown of the things that I have done. And one of these things, and plus, I am doing videos of this as well, things that I've done. So look out for those. And one of those videos will be, I'd say, it may have even been the previous part to this video I'm doing now. But it's all got to do with making this wall watertight, because every time we get a storm, you just get water pouring through this side of the cinema pretty badly. It's like full-on dripping and so forth, and it's been like that for a while now, but I had to address it. And the main reason it was leaking is because, remember, up the top we have a deck. It was always built to be a deck, even though I kind of dodged up a lot of windows to build it in. It still had those original ballast rails, the nice timber looking things that cost a fortune. So I built it like that, and I really liked it. I always had glass in front of those ballast rails, believe it or not, and it looked pretty cool. You could see through it. It didn't look like there was glass there, but anyway, it was never watertight. You used to get water just trickling in. You can actually see some staining, dribble marks there, but anywhere there was a post like there, you get water coming in as well. So what I've done is, if we go outside here, I'll give you a quick look. I've actually removed all those ballast rails. If we look up the top now, it's not finished, but I've framed it up, removed the ballast rails, framed it up, and we've got builder's paper there. And it's awesome. It's fantastic. Let's go back inside. It's really cool. We've had some rain in the last week or so. We had a lot of rain, heavy rain, and honestly guys, not a single drop come through. So that's really good, because that was stopping me from putting some rock wool and insulation and doing anything as far as the walls are concerned. So and now I can do electrical. I can run some power through here, which is cool. I had to do that wall over there as well. That had a ballast rail to that length actually, and I've done that also, and it looks awesome. Okay, so that was probably a major part. Now, the other major part that I've done, I've actually started a new series in this cinema playlist called My Junkyard Cinema for Free, and that's when I build a cinema with a 180-inch acoustically transparent screen for free. And that's just using stuff I find at the dump, etc. Now, if you have a look there, what do you see? You can see there is actually a frame. There's a screen frame. I've actually built the screen frame, and that was episode 1 of my Junkyard Cinema for Free. So please have a look out for that. It's really cool. It's my favorite episode or part that I've made as far as this cinema is concerned. It's really cool, especially when I lift this thing up myself on my own. It's quite funny and very impressive, and a little daunting at the same time. But yeah, no regrets. I've been sitting here in my red chairs down here. If I can just get my camera to play good. There we go. I've been sitting here, and I found these at the dump as well. I've been sitting there and watching it and loving it. Well, I haven't watched that particular screen. I haven't, because it hasn't got the fabric on there. But I did have some, just temporary fabric just for me to stick up and have a go at. And it looked amazing. It looked really good. Now, another thing that I've done as far as screens are concerned, and this is more to the point with what I just said, is I actually have installed in the ceiling now 2 motorized screens. One motorized screen that I found at the dump was a Screen Technic screen. You may have seen that in some of my previous videos. I actually found 2 of them. That's the second one. And that is, they're both 150 inches. And they were both for 3 screens, so the old aspect ratio. I definitely wanted to stick one in my ceiling. They cost $3,000 each, so I wasn't going to sell it on eBay or Gumtree for, you know, a couple of $100. I was definitely sticking it in, and I'm telling you now, I'm so happy that I did. I'm so happy I stuck one in, because you should see Star Trek on it. It's insane. It looks so good because it's the old TV aspect ratio, remember? Not to mention Justice League. Everyone's complaining about the aspect ratio. Well, not me, because it looked incredible. Like, seriously, it just blew me away. It was the closest thing to IMAX at home, because it's basically from the ceiling to the floor. In fact, what I might do is, I've got my remote control here. I'll bring it out. Let's bring it out. And I've got it so it just falls there. I've got it tuned. I've got this screen tuned so it basically stops like 5 mil off the ground. Watch this. 5 mil off the ground. How good is that? And look where the top edge is. It just comes out perfectly out from the soffit. I am so impressed. So yeah, so that is just amazing. I'm so happy how that turned out. Yeah, but the second one, that's the second one down here. That's another thing that I've been doing in the past, you know, couple of weeks. I actually cut that down because the bottom corner was all marked. I actually dropped it with a mate of mine. I'm not going into it, but we ruined it. But yeah, so I basically cut it back. And I was going to do this anyway, so dropping it and just, you know, marking it wasn't a big issue. I wanted to actually cut it back to a 16:9 aspect ratio, because I probably will sell this one, and not many people want the old 4:3 screens. But if I cut it down to a 16:9 aspect ratio, like I did, it turns it into a 137-inch 16:9 screen. And it looks amazing. It turned out like it was done in the factory. I was so happy. So yeah, I did that, and there's a couple of other things, like I replaced the capacitor in the motor of that screen that I cut down. I'm making a video on that at the moment. But like I said, there's actually 2 screens in there, motorized screens. Let's bring the second one down. All right, so second screen is coming down. There you go. And this screen I bought for $50. I bought it when I bought my projector from this guy. And he said to me, mate, just take the screen. You can have it for $50. It cost me $1,650. And I said, yep, okay. And that's what I've been using the last few months. Watching, you know, movies down here, I've been using this screen, and it's awesome. To be honest, it's exactly, there's no difference between the quality of this screen to the very expensive $3,000 Screen Technic screen behind it. They look identical. So it's awesome. It's really nice to have these different aspect ratios. It's listen, there's a couple of other reasons why I want to have these screens. And I might go into that in another video. Well, listen, I always keep saying that, but listen, I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm thinking is, if my channel gets a little bit bigger, I might like to do, you know, some projector reviews. And I think it'd be really cool to have a variety of screens to test projectors out on. You'd have your 180-inch acoustically transparent screen behind these ones, which would be my main screen, and then we'd have a couple of different screens as well. But that's just one thought. But listen, it's more just messing around and playing with different things, and that's what I love about home cinema and audio-visual, you know. So that's the main reason. So there you go. Listen, I'm just going to bring these up, and the coolest part is, I've got these put into the, you know, between the floor joists up there. They're just tucked away beautifully. It took me a very long time to get the framing done right. You can actually see here, it's only like 20 mil or something between the screen fabrics. It's done so well. Like, oh man, it took me a long time to get this done. But you can see that goes up nicely. This one's a nice sounding screen, actually, the cheaper one of the two. It sounds really quiet compared to the very expensive Screen Technic screen, which I will bring up as soon as this one goes up, and you can hear that. Here we go, that's about to stop. Okay, let's bring the 150-inch 4:3 screen up. This one's a lot quicker though. It's a lot faster. I like that, to be honest with you. Not that it bothers me at all. But yeah, so that's what I've been up to, guys. That's why I haven't, worked in here for such a long time. But what are we going to be doing now? Well, I think what I want to do now is basically continue with this front soffit curve. I'm actually very happy where this template is sitting at the moment. The reason I made this template, I made it like this so I could actually pull it, towards me where I'm sitting, or push it back towards that way. I just didn't know where I wanted it to be positioned, how far I wanted it to stick out. Now I'm happy with where it is now. I'm very happy with where it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a black pen, and I'm going to use it as a stencil now and actually mark these, excess bits of timber, basically where to cut it. And then what I'm going to do is pull the whole thing down, take each length of each timber off and cut it with my drop saw. Now, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the offcut and flip it and attach it to the top of that, because remember, we got to have 2 levels for these soffits. Remember, so we've got this one here on the side. This bit of framing pine is the first level, and you can see that bit of white backing MDF back there, that's the second level. So that's got to happen up there as well. So that's a really cool thing, having those offcuts. We're just going to use those. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, you will shortly. But having said that, I've got to do that. I also have to do some noggins in between those bits of timber so that it doesn't kind of go out of shape, as well as work out where some anchor points are going to go for, to attach it to the ceiling so it's nice and solid and it doesn't flex or vibrate or have any movement in it. Not to mention, I have to work out exactly where I want to put down lights and all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to see if I can keep this one a little bit shorter. I think I'm just going to set up this camera and do a lot of time lapse. But let's see how we go, eh? All right, let's begin. Alright, so I thought I'd show you. This is that mark that we made with that template. What I plan on doing is cutting that straight down there, grabbing this offcut, placing it back here, 100mm back, and that's for our second tier. Remember, we've got two. We've got a front tier and a second tier. So, waste not, want not. So let's do that. Basically, just like this. Have a look at this. So what I'm thinking, we've got our first one, that's the front. Put it that way. We get our offcut, make sure the angle is the same angle, and we're just going to step it back 100mm. That way we got two tiers. We got the front kind of soffit, and then we've got the second one. And it's this second one where the lights shine up and give us that really nice glow around the edge of our room. So I think that'll work. I think that's a decent idea. So all I'm going to do now is put two holes in here so I can screw some screws all the way through. There we go, just like that. So we can countersink our screws. Big time. Alright, let's go and screw this on. There we go. You can see the angles there. Oh, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Can you see we got two levels there on our curved Soffit now? So there's the front tier and then there's the second tier. And the whole idea is to get some pine and bend it around those, and we'll have a nice curved soffit. In fact, if I pull out a little bit, I've actually done a bit of a test piece, and there you go there, and we have a beautiful curve. Look at that. Incredibly happy with the way that's turning out. But yeah, so in fact, unfortunately, I've just given away what I'm going to be using for my starfield ceiling. And there you go. This stuff, I think it's called polycarbonate sheeting. Honestly, I've never seen a single person using this stuff in a home theatre build, let alone a starfield ceiling. And honestly, I can't believe that nobody has used it before. I was thinking about it, and it just seems like the most perfect stuff for a starfield ceiling. It's, when people they're looking for starfield ceiling materials for their, their substrate. Well, there's three main aspects, I guess you could probably say. The first is lightweight. It has to be pretty light. That's very light. It's incredibly light. Number two, has to be strong. That's incredibly strong. Number three, well, I think this isn't a must for everyone, but for myself, I don't want to have little 1 meter, 1 meter, or 2 by 1 meter panels everywhere. I want big panels, don't want seams all over my ceiling. And these come in 3 meter long sheets by 1 meter. So that's actually cool as well. So believe it or not, I got this stuff from the dump. It's expensive. This stuff's expensive. I think you're looking at about $150 for a sheet. But I was at the dump one day and this guy was throwing out about 24 sheets. And he gave me all of it. All of it. Not just that, he gave me all of the, the alloy extruded stuff that it's supposed to slot into with the rubber seals. So I got about 3.5 to 4 grand's worth of stuff, I think, for free. So I never envisaged I'd use it for a starfield ceiling, but I was thinking about this ages ago and I thought, hey, I've got the perfect stuff. Of course, this has to be it. And not just that, there's a lot of other benefits I'll be going into in a dedicated video on this stuff. As far as a starfield ceiling is concerned, you're not going to believe what I've discovered, so keep an eye out for those videos. But getting back to this, I'm going to have to finish this off now. You can actually see in the joists up there, can you see that horizontal piece of batten, pine batten? Well, I've got one on that joist and I've got one on the other side as well. You can see up there. Well, that is basically, I've put those up there because I'll be putting insulation up there now. And honestly, the insulation, just those battens would be enough to hold the insulation in. But I've decided, I was going to put plasterboard or gyprock up there as well. And I decided, hey, why don't I, instead of using, people use all that green glue and stuff like that, I don't want to get sucked into all of that stuff. And paying exorbitant prices. So I thought to myself, this whole build is supposed to be about, doing stuff differently and using recycled stuff. I thought I am going to put some foam in between those battens and the gyprock. Maybe I came up with carpet underlay. I thought I'm just going to put a sheet of carpet underlay and, hold it across. And then I thought to myself, hey, why do I even need to put gyprock up there? I'm not even going to do it. I'm just going to use the carpet underlay. So I'm just going to have the carpet underlay holding in the insulation, and then I'll have the starfield ceiling under that. Because, hey, listen, I don't have anybody else that lives here. Nobody's going to be walking along my ceiling up, on the deck above me. So, and even if there were, I couldn't care less anyway. But anyway, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do now. Unfortunately, I have to pull this whole curved soffit. All these pieces have to come off again just so I can get access in there. And so hopefully I'll try to get all this done by the end of this video, and we'll see if we can put 1 or 2 sticks of this, undercoated pine just to give it some shape and finish this video off. I'm not sure if we'll get that far, but we'll try. But for now, I better get back into it. All right.
Adiós, señor.
All right, well, here we go. I just thought I'd show you before I do any more. This is what I'm talking about. We have insulation in between those particular joists there. So I had to do that just so I could do the soffit, because I couldn't do it otherwise. I couldn't do it afterwards. So that's that. Eventually, this entire ceiling will be done like that. Carpet underlay holding in my sound check, whatever the hell insulation I'm using. Yeah. So it took a long time. It took longer than I thought it would take, but that's because I've got all these protruding, soffit supports and brackets and things like that, and the framing that's going in there. It just took a little bit longer. The rest of this ceiling should be relatively quick because it doesn't have all of that stuff. But I thought I'd quickly show you that before I'm about to put the soffit back up for good this time, and put some noggins in between, and then hopefully curve some of this pine around so we can see the shape. So wish me luck. Turn Indiana Jones back on and get back into it. All right.
Nothing you can possess which I cannot take away. And you thought I had given up.
All right, well, here we go. Can't wait to see how this turns out. I'm about to put my front curved pieces on. I've wanted to do this for months. Seriously, I really want to see what the shape looks like. So I'm going to try and do it on my own. Yeah, I think it's a two-people job, because the piece of timber is actually wider than what, this side of the bottom soffit and that side over there is. It's actually wider because it's on the curve, remember. I think it would be a lot easier if you had two people, one on either side, and bent it as you're pushing it in. But it's just me, so I'm going to see how I go. I'm pretty sure I can do it. In fact, you can see where these noggins have been placed. I didn't do this on purpose. Let me just get this gimbal working a bit better. There we go. I didn't do this on purpose, but it's just a nice coincidence that these noggins are right at the end. I think I can use these orange clamps to actually hold the curve on, the bottom one at least. Now the top one's going to be a lot easier. The top one, it doesn't matter how long it is. I mean, you don't want it to be shorter, but it doesn't matter if it's longer. So I'm going to purposely make it a little bit longer, because you won't see the ends, because you know, the bottom of the soffit's going to be covering it all. So, wish me luck. I'm going to cut these now and try and get them up there. There you go. All done. It looks excellent. It wasn't that difficult to put up. There's a few things that I have to change. These noggins, these noggins that I've clamped this front soffit to. Well, I actually raised them up about 2 mil, so they're not really flush with the underside of these, the soffit framing. It's not flush, so it's actually raised on the top by a few mil. So I think I'm going to have to pull them all off because that's actually making the second tier a little bit high, which you will never notice, but I think I need a couple of mil just for the ceiling to actually slide in underneath that. So I'm going to do it right. But look at that. How good is it? I'm so happy. Oh, I can't wait to put some lights in there and yeah, you can see where it's all marrying up really nicely up the top there. So there you go. Oh, I better straighten that up. That's actually coming off down there because I was just pulling it and oh, sorry, I'm out of breath. Oh, guys, I'm so happy. There you go. Actually, at the top there, I have to pull that second tier on the side across. See if I can do that while I'm holding you. There we go. Look at that. How good is that? So it's coming along. It's coming along. I like the progress. So I can't wait to watch a movie in here tonight. Not that that's going to make it any different. In fact, actually, when I'm watching 16, 9 content, before I have to actually change it to CinemaScope, if it's a CinemaScope movie, say I'm watching something on Kodi, well, it's actually the top of the screen. It's on the ceiling, so I think it might actually, the writing might actually go across the first tier there. We'll see. You probably don't understand what I'm saying, but don't worry about it. Anyway, guys, I'm happy with that. I think that looks fantastic. Wow, look at that curve. Let me stand on the side here. Finally, we have our curved soffit. Well, we haven't skinned it yet. We haven't put the bottom MDF on, but that's not far away. Very happy with how that's turned out. Incredibly happy. A lot of mucking around for that bloody thing. But there you go. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to call this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next... Oh, by the way, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.